Good morning, this is Rachel with Infused Meadows, and I'm doing something probably weird. So, anytime I have anything fresh that I don't use, carrots, broccoli, celery, onions, green beans, apples, bananas, pretty much anything that I can't, if I can't use it before I know it's going to go off, I tend to dehydrate. And with dehydration, some things just don't quite work out, but there are other things that you can do with it. So I have some dehydrated banana, and all I'm going to do is put this into my blender, and I'm going to turn this banana into a powder. Now, if you want, you can throw in some coconut flakes if you like, dried, or my favorite, some dehydrated strawberries, pretty much anything, as long as it's good and dehydrated. It has to be dehydrated. You do not want to use something that's just fresh. I mean, if you use fresh, then that's because you're going to put it straight into whatever it is that you're doing, and like straight into to make a syrup, or if you want to make a jam or a jelly. I'm rambling. Apologies. So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to blend this into a powder. I will pause it. I think this thing is loud. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'll be right back. So, once you've blended it, if it takes longer than, 10, 15 seconds, which mine did because it did have a few clumps and lumps, what you're going to do is you're going to spread this onto a cookie sheet with your parchment paper, and you're going to slide this into an oven on your lowest setting, or if you have a dehydrator that doesn't throw things everywhere, then especially powders, you can stick this in your dehydrator for a couple hours, and you're just re-drying it to make sure it's really good and dry and no moisture's in there, so it's shelf stable. So I'm going to put this in my oven for about 30 minutes, and then I'll check and make sure it's dry, and then I'll bring it back. Once they're dry and you've let them cool, don't put it in here hot, or else condensation inside of your jar will then put moisture back into it, and that's not good. So you just want to gather this up. I was going to try to make this a short, but so far I seem to fail making short, not on purpose. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift this. And then anything that's like big chunks that doesn't go through, you can literally just put this back into your grinder and then just grind it again so that you have more of a powder. You get the idea. I'm going to finish this and I'll bring you back. Now what I'm going to do is measure out how much I have. So I'm hoping that I have at least a half a cup. So I'm going to just put this in here to measure it, and I really don't think that you need to see that part. So I'm just going to pause, and we'll be back and tell you what I got. So I ended up with just shy of 3/4 of a cup. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to add a pinch of salt, so maybe 1/8 teaspoon. That was a little short of a pinch, apologies. And then we were going to add 4 tablespoons, or 1/4 cup, of powdered sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's always a good thing to know is your tablespoon measures. 2 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons equals 1/4 cup, which tells you what? Double that. 8 tablespoons equals 1/2 cup, and so on. Okay. There you go. Homemade banana powder. You can use this in milk. If you like banana flavored milk, you want to start with roughly a tablespoon to 8 ounces of milk, or 1 cup. And then you're just going to, I use well, you can use a little whisk if you want, but I have one of those little milk frothers that I'll just drop down in the cup and use that to mix that up really well. You can also add this to any of your baking. Let's say you're making pudding and you want it to have a banana flavor. You can add about a tablespoon of this into your mix, and then that way you'll have a nice little banana flavor naturally. And there's not that much sugar in there to worry about when it comes to your recipes. So if you're worried about clumping, you can add, you know, we'll say about a tablespoon of arrowroot to this. I would probably start with 2 teaspoons, because, you know, a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. I would start with 2 teaspoons of your arrowroot powder. Now, this is homemade, so that means we dehydrated it, and then we blended it, and then we put it in the oven to take out any moisture that may have come from the blades heating up. And so it will clump. That's what happens. That's why, you know, whenever you buy something at the store, it'll give you an anti-caking agent that they use. That's where you can use cornstarch, or in the UK, corn flour. You can add arrowroot. What I do is every day, I just grab this out, anything that I've got homemade, and I just give it a little shake just to make sure I try to keep it, you know, clump free. You can make this with anything. There's other recipes, like if you want, for example, you want a chocolate powder so that you can add to your milk for chocolate milk. You'll just do 1 cup of powdered sugar, a 1/2 cup of your cocoa powder, and then a good pinch or 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Mix that up, and you'll do the same thing. Start with 1 tablespoon of your mix into your cup of milk. And then, you know, mix that up really well, taste it, see what you think about it. If you want it more chocolatey, add another tablespoon of chocolate. And the upside is with the cocoa powder, you don't have to worry about dehydrating and then mixing. Anyway, I hope this is actually just a little helpful video. My husband loves banana milk. So I thought I would show you this. Hopefully it's helpful. If not, I apologize. But hey, don't know if there might be other videos out there, and if so, I hope you find the one that's right for you if you don't like this one. I hope you have a wonderful day.